Today in your Twitter comments who have expressed a harsh judgment about Miss Sneiderman. And I think we'll see in a few minutes whether
technology
or not,
is pretty amazing.
High public recognition. There's been so much discourse from people who know nothing about the judicial, about its impact and all of that. And these high-profile trials do have an impact on attorneys, and they do have an impact oftentimes on counties and how they do business.
I mean, I think they do. I think the greatest impact is that, there are probably 5 or 6 trials going on in the courtroom today, and nobody's paying attention to those. Yeah. The high-profile ones are ones that people pay attention to, and then that's where they, for good or for bad, learn some things about the legal system.
We are seeing a close-up picture of Don Sneiderman and his wife to his left, television right, and then to his right, television left, is Steve, his son, the brother of the late Rusty Sneiderman, and his wife is sitting next to him in that back bench. What a difficult period of 2.5 years it has been for them, and listening to a grieving father on the stand, it was very, very difficult to listen to his testimony, and at the same time trying to figure what on earth he must be thinking at this time.
Sure. Hopefully today will bring some measure of closure to some or to all the parties in the case.
On the other side of the courtroom, in the first bench, has been, you can see a gentleman with glasses, thinning hair over there. That is the uncle of Andrea Sneiderman. All right, we are off on 11.2. Here comes the judge.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have been advised that the jury has reached a verdict. And we will follow the same procedure as we normally do when we receive verdicts here in Division 5. I will have the juries come out, and the foreperson will actually read the verdict into the record. All right, for those gathered in the gallery, and I'm sorry I'm coughing a little bit, unrelated to this case, but I just have a cough. If you do not feel as if you can control your emotions, you may want to step outside, because this is a zero-tolerance environment. No screaming, no whistling, no clapping, no response. And someone will come outside and tell you what the outcome is. Make sure you put your phones in the
This is Judge Gregory A. Adams right now in DeKalb County, and he is now announcing that the jury in the trial of Andrea Sneiderman has reached judgment.
But you can sit wherever you want to. If you don't feel as if you can follow those instructions, you may want to step outside. No outbursts, one way or the other. So if you don't feel like you can control yourself, feel free to step outside, and the lawyers will come outside and talk with you at the appropriate time. Come on in, citizen. Anything from the state before I bring out the jury?
No, sir.
From the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Excuse me. Deputy Garrett, if you could bring in the jury, please. We've got the clerk here, and we're set to go.
This trial is now in its 4th week, as you see Andrea Sneiderman standing at attention as the jury files in. Bill Thomas, who is a former federal prosecutor and a defense attorney. Bill, what is going on right now in the minds of these attorneys, both right and left, on the side of the desk?
I think this is the hardest part of any trial. Wondering what they did. I mean, this is far from open and shut. And I just think nobody can accurately predict what you're gonna hear from that jury in the next few minutes.
The jury began their deliberations on Friday morning at 8:30. We heard from them about 10:15 on Friday. They had some questions about Bonnie Greenberg, the mother of Andrea Sneiderman, and then we did not see them again after that.
Make yourself comfortable. Come on in, ladies and gentlemen, make yourself comfortable. Come on in, ladies and gentlemen, make yourself comfortable. You may be seated in any seat. Come on in, ladies and gentlemen, make yourself comfortable. You may be seated in any seat. Come on in, ladies and gentlemen, make yourself comfortable. You may be seated in any seat. Come on in, members of the jury, make yourself comfortable. You may be seated in any seat. Lawyers and parties, you may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I have been advised that you have reached the verdict. The way we're going to proceed is the way we proceed in all of our cases. I'm going to have the jury foreman stand, and what you're going to do, who's the foreperson? Stand up. And what we're going to do, I'm going to have the verdict been reduced to writing. You have to answer the question, has the verdict been reduced to writing?
It has.
And has it been signed and dated by you as the foreperson?
It has.
And is it written in ink?
It is.
And did you also include your juror number? Because that's what I'm going to refer to you as if needed. I know your name's
I can
on
put
there.
that on there. No, I haven't. put my number on.
Would you give her a pen, Deputy Garrett?
Yeah.
And just put your number on there, the number that you can assign for the course of this proceeding. You can just pass that pen back to whomever you received it. Madam Foreperson, the way we proceed, I will have you start at the top of the verdict form and read it in its entirety into the record.
Okay.
You may proceed.
Okay.
At the top means at the top.
At the top. In the Superior Court of DeKalb County, State of Georgia versus Andrea Sneiderman, defendant. Indictment number 13CR2413-5. Judge Gregory A. Adams. Verdict: we the jury find the defendant Andrea Sneiderman, count 1, hindering the apprehension of a criminal, guilty. Count 2, concealment of material facts, guilty. Count 3, false statement, guilty. Count 4, perjury, not guilty. Count 5, false statement, not guilty. Count 6, perjury, guilty. Count 7, perjury, not guilty. Count 8, false statement, guilty. Count 9, perjury, guilty. Count 10, false statement, guilty. Count 11, perjury, guilty. Count 12, perjury, guilty. And count 13, perjury, not guilty. This 19th day of August, 2013.
And what's the juror number?
Jury number 31.
And I know your signature's on there and your name is also printed on there.
It is.
It will be filed at the appropriate time, but at this point in time, I need you to hand the proposed verdict form over to Deputy Garrett, and you may be seated. And Deputy Garrett, would you present the verdict form to the state first, followed by the defense? Any objection as to form from the state?
No objection as to form, Your Honor.
All right. Would you present it to the defense?
I'm Jeff Hellinger, joined by Bill Thomas, former federal prosecutor and current defense attorney, with me outside, 9 of 13. Is that a big victory for the prosecution?
I think the prosecution will certainly count this as a victory. I think the jury has obviously considered and weighed the facts very closely. That's evidenced by the mixed verdict, but I certainly think that that you will hear Robert James shortly coming out counting this one as a victory for the prosecution.
Let's go back inside the courtroom. Judge Gregory A. Adams.
From the state, anything else with this jury from the state?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
From the defense?
The defense would ask that the jury be polled, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, either side has an opportunity to do what is called polling the jury. The clerk will come around and ask you a series of questions, and I will refer to you by your numbers, and you will stand and answer those questions that the clerk is going to come around, as I'm indicating right now. Come on around, Ms. Patterson. I know Ms. Marble is also in training. You can come on up, Ms. Marble, and stand next to her since you're training to take over. And they're going to ask you a series of questions, and you're going to have to stand in the jury box and answer these series of questions truthfully based upon the questions that are going to be propounded by the clerk. I will identify you initially by your juror number, and then if you don't recognize your number, I will give your initials for right now. Juror number 5, if you could stand in the jury box, please. Juror number 5.
Juror number 5, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes.
Is this still your verdict?
Yes.
You may be seated. Juror number 14.
Juror number 14, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes.
Is this still your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 17.
Juror number 17, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes.
Is this still your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 28.
Juror 28, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you? Yes. Is this still your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 29.
Juror number 29, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes.
Is this still your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 31.
Juror number 31, is this your verdict? Was
Yes.
it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes.
Is this still your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 33.
Juror number 33, is this your verdict?
Judge Gregory A. Adams right now is polling the jury. Again, we have heard 9 of 13 counts. Andrea Sneiderman is guilty, and these are charges of perjury, of hindering. There has also been the issue of obstruction. This is now in its 4th week, this trial, and it has been a point that the prosecution has tried to prove that, A, there was infidelity. They also tried to establish a timeline. And they also tried to prove that Andrea Sneiderman was evasive